अभी तो कपड़े उतार दिए सबने, अभी क्या है, अभी क्या छुपाना, अब किससे लड़ना? I feel like doing dollar dollar right now. Shah Rukh never says no to me. He never says no to me. You were the excited child, the excited bachcha in the three boxes. I saw the whole 1 hour of it. I want to tell you.
Hi Karan, how are you?
Hi Sucharita, how are you?
I'm fabulous. मेरे को तो कोई problem नहीं है life में, but are you feeling like you've finally managed to sleep after, I'm assuming, years and years of not sleeping properly?
You know, I was initially not sleeping because of all the high level of anxiety and stress I was feeling prior to the release of the film. And now I'm not sleeping because of the adrenaline rush and the excitement. And like I spent like a large part of the night reading stuff, replying to messages and feeling like so happy about myself. I can't tell you, like it's a rare feeling and I want to eventually get out of the zone and start getting onto the next one and so many other films and projects to work on. But right now I've just given myself like this post-Aur Rani holiday. So I'm feeling less stressed. I'm sleeping less for the good reasons, but I will eventually get out of the city and country and sleep well. I love hotel rooms.
Nice. एक तो already, Karan, too many people are convinced that suddenly all the film critics have come on dharma payroll, and you know, now after these interviews that you're doing, everyone का शक यकीन में बदल जाएगा. But legit, this is the first time you and I are actually having an interview conversation. That too, like almost a week after the film is released, we've digested it, lived with it a little bit. Please tell our viewers what your relationship with film critics has actually been like since the start.
I've known you, Sucharita, and I don't think you've liked a lot of the work that we've made. I've known Anupama. Raji works with us now, but he was a friend even when, you know, he didn't like so many of the films we produced. I have always loved the opinion of people who I know don't come from an inherent bias. And I respect the things they say for other films as well as mine. For example, Bhatt Rangan is somebody I know personally, and he's like some, not like some, as have all the critics. My relationship with the critics has nothing to do with what they say about my film. Because if I find them like astute in their observation and right in their analysis, then I like them because I like those minds. I like to interact with them. You like my film this time, you may not like it the next time. Doesn't mean I stop liking you. You see, that's not the way to look at any equations you build in the industry. Having said that, I'm a rare breed, I think, because there are lots of filmmakers who take it all very personally. Anu's been a friend of mine for over 2 decades, and I can assure you the strike rate has been quite like high in terms of how much she struck me. But it doesn't matter, right? Like, because I feel I like her. So how does it matter if she hasn't liked my film? I can't stop liking her. That means it doesn't add up to me in my head. Like, my relationship with the members of the media has always been affable, amiable, and accessible. And I want to keep it that way. I mean, you know, this time around, though, there was abundant love that came my way, and from the community of critics. And I have to say, shocked. Because in that morning, I was like, यार, I told my marketing team, हमारा एक group chat है, तो मैंने कहा कि कोई भी negative review मुझे मत भेजना, मैं बहुत vulnerable और fragile feel कर रहा हूँ, उम्र भी हो चुकी है, plus ज्यादा 3 सालों में all the built up anxiety or for various reasons had formed this bubble of anxiety in my system. So I was like, I'm not strong enough to take. Like, I had a really close friend who said, hey, listen, Karan, saw the film, I have issues, and I was like, can I talk to you in a week? Like, I don't want to hear right now. Of course, I'm happy to kind of hear everything, but like that time I was fragile. Then in that group chat, I was like, and like I was like literally going, इसको भी अच्छी लगी, इसको भी अच्छी लगी, इसको भी अच्छी लगी. I said, इसको भी अच्छी लगी. I said, ये तो कुछ, I said, ये किस किस्म की पिक्चर बनाई है मैंने, ये हो क्या रहा है? So to answer your initial question, my relationship with critics has nothing to do. Of course, you feel hurt and vulnerable on, you know, sometimes you might, and I've sulked also a little bit, a little, thoda I'm allowed. But like, otherwise I bounce back quite fast, and I'm okay, like with criticism, because I believe that if you don't absorb it, you'll never get better and you won't go where you are. And I think this film is the result of all the reviews I've read.
Yeah, we're making a difference. We're important. We're consequential in the larger scheme of things. You know, Rahul Desai, me and Ishita Sen Gupta, we like the film so much. We've done a full 1 hour long discussion on the movie.
Watch the whole thing, because I told you, I see everything. I saw everything, and I didn't understand why you all kept going into a small dabba, then coming back into big dabbas, and then going back into a small dabba, and I would see the screen. I heard everything Rahul said, Ishita said, you said, I heard it all. I know it all.
Well, that was because, we were just I was also trying to make it dynamic, right? If you're doing like a 1 hour long conversation.
I just want to say in her t-shirt, she had very bad network. Rahul was calm and composed, and you were the excited child, the excited bacha in the three boxes. I saw the whole 1 hour of it, I want to tell you.
I'm so flattered right now. But this is not like the first time you've received these glowing reviews. And Jug Jug Jio was not your film. You didn't direct it, but it was your film. And Jug Jug Jio also was a big mainstream masala film which got unanimously good reviews. But did that feel different from now? I assume it did, because this is now your Karan Johar's directorial.
Direct a film yourself, you're on the front line of the film, right? So you feel like a lot more vulnerable to anything, to praise or criticism. This film was coming after Aidil, which was very polarized. There was love, and then there was not love. By the last act was very polarized. So I had read all kinds of reviews. There were 4-star reviews and 2-star reviews. Like on that film, it was literally like across the board polarized. While I was reading, I had read like Saibal loving it and Bardwaj Rangan liking it. Then there were, of course, others who weren't. And, and I was like a bit like, I couldn't kind of comprehend the impact that film had. Of course, this Ek Tarfa phenomena took off. It exists, but it was addressed kind of for the first time. After that, 7 years later, I was like, older, weaker, more fragile, more vulnerable. So I was like, yeah, it would be great if like people love the film from all across, like not just audiences, but also the community of critics as well as the media. And when I was reading columns and all being written, analysis pieces, and I was like, oh, I'm like, ye to pehli baar hua hai. That I can tell you. Critics have liked the films, and some of them have liked it, some of them haven't. But I've never had like columns about like discussing subtext, subversion of politics, and and 2.0 of me, and like I'm back apparently. I don't know where I'd gone, but like I was here only, omnipresent everywhere, as you can see and tell. But I was apparently back. So I'm like, okay, I'm happy to be back. Even though it's after 7 years, it probably is justifiable to say I'm back.
Fun fact for viewers, Rani's house in the movie was almost my wedding venue last year, Fort Ucha Gaon, which is about 100 kilometers outside of Delhi, but eventually I moved to Alwar in Rajasthan. Also, I did my wedding in, so I wanted to do that Bollywood wedding. So I wanted to talk to you about the venue, Uncha Gaon, and then the White House also. I'm incidentally in DC right now. I'm close to the real White House. Please tell me about Rani's house and Rocky's house.
So Rani's house was meant to be in Chittaranjan Park, CR Park, and of course, it was not in CR Park. As you know, there is no house in CR Park that looks like this. So Amrita, my production designer, who's pretty much like she's a mega force. She came up with this location, and I was like, but it can't be white because we already have the White House, right? And I'll tell you about that later. But this location, she said, okay, trust me, leave me with it, because she has such strong aesthetics. She painted it that brick color, gave it a lot of greenery, went inside and we shot all the indoors. She revamped the whole space. Like, it was just stunning by the end of it. Like, it was like truly when like Shabana ji and Tota and Shruti walked in, like they said, oh, we've seen homes like this in Kolkata. So the interiors were more real. The exterior and the space and size of it, perhaps not. That was about Uchagaon, and you didn't get married there. And I heard that there was a lot of dharma signage around. So you knew you couldn't miss it. So it's great. I'm glad that we have our little tiny place in everyone in Uchagaon. All the hearts of Uchagaon livers. Now, when it was the funniest thing, Sucharita, we wrote it as a joke that the Punjabi community live in a house modeled on the White House, right? It was a joke. It came up as a joke. Like, it was a White House, a Randhawa Paradise. And they've obviously copied the Washington Wala White House. And I'm like, yeah, let's find something. One day, production and my AD team come up and said, there is a White House in Noida. It's called White House. I'm like, no, ये तो possible ही नहीं है. So they said, नहीं, हम आपको video भेजते हैं, images भेजते हैं. Images का भी यकीन नहीं करूंगा मैं. I need to see a video. I got a shock. I was like, it exists. There is a White House in Noida. For everyone who's watching this, go and see it. It's in Noida. Beautiful, beautiful, stunning property. It has that bridge and it has the White House, and the interiors are very, very dramatic as well. We didn't shoot any of the interiors though, but like we made sets for that. But like, how weird is that you write something on a page and it exists? like thinking it's the most bizarre thing in this world, and there is that bizarre thing, that exists. So it's like they say, no, truth is stranger than fiction. Well, even properties are stranger than imagination.
It's fascinating. And I said this in my live chat also, that I'm sure this place is real. I'm sure this is not a set. Being from Delhi, I know people who would have this kind of shock, who would want to live in the replica of a White House. And I'm so happy to hear that it's actually real. The film is very long. It's nearly 3 hours. And from what one can tell from the promotional scenes,
yes, it's 2 hours 48 minutes. Don't add 12 minutes, please. I had a tough time trying to condense it to 2:48 also. I put my song in a dabba in the end. You didn't see in that Kurmai, so that the rolling credits could go on in abundance on the right of the frame. It was a very sad decision to take, but anyway, 2 hours 48, but still long.
Yes, long. But what are the sequences that you had to then cut out that didn't make? Because you can see some shots are there in the promotional material that have not been included in the movie.
We are a 3-hour minute cut that went down to 2 hours. We had first 3 hour 15, 3:10, then 3, then 2:48. So we went through a journey. Nitin Bed is a really solid editor, and he was very calm and composed through the stormy process of editing. The montage of songs between Dharamji, Jayaji, and Ranveer and Alia, Rocky and Rani, there were actually 6 songs shot by Farah Khan. We dropped 2 songs. We had one massive love scene after Rocky's cancel culture outburst. There was a scene between Rocky and Rani where he says "Love hai to sab hai" to her, and there's a massive emotional big scene. We shot it over a period of time. We had some more scenes with Dharamji and Shabana ji in the love story. We had more scenes of Rocky and Rani in the first half. We had a larger opening sequence to explain many things about the journey of Dhanlakshmi from the beginning to the end. We had so much, Sucharita. And all the songs were long.
Yeah.
Like 5-minute song, which is now a 1.5-minute song. Tum Kya Mile is a 7-minute song, which is now a 3.5-minute song. Everything that got truncated, and rightfully so. So a lot of the songs got compromised, and Kurmai went into a dabba, which is... I beseech everyone to watch it on YouTube. It's stunning. It looks stunning, and everyone should feel like they want to get married like that. It's beautiful. We had to take those creative calls because it was the right thing to do. And not over. Already the film was long, and we got the feedback that the second half does feel bloated in parts. But there were so many characters, and each one had an arc. The only arc that we knew we wouldn't completely complete was Dhanlakshmi's arc. So we struggled, but we managed an edit that finally felt like the emotion wasn't being compromised, or nor was the love.
One thing that's going kind of unnoticed is how many TV actors are in this movie. Kshiti Jog, Anjali Anand, there's cameos by Bharti, Arjun Bijlani. Now, these are hardcore mainstream television superstars. So talk to me about dipping into that talent pool, getting the actors from the television industry.
I have to tell you, no credit to me for the casting of this film. All credit to Shanu Sharma. Shanu Sharma is she's a force. So she brought in, whether it was Tota Churni, Shriti, Amir Bashir, Abhinav Sharma, Namit Das, all the Bharti, and her husband Harsh, Arjit Taneja, Shriti Jha, Arjun Bijlani, and Shraddha Arya. All these actors were all suggested, recommended tapes were sent to me, audition tapes. And I always tell her, send me your top 2 for everything. And these were all my top choices for everything. And a lot of these actors I've also seen because my mother's a huge TV viewer and I'm a huge Mummy viewer. So when I view Mummy views TV. Obviously, then I'm also watching everything along with her. I've lived I know all the TV shows, Sucharita. I can do an interview about primetime Indian television. My mother picks up the phone on Ekta all the time and says, why this, why that? And she's pretty much on her own, making her own screenplays and changes. So I know, I'm very aware. I've also hosted reality shows, interacted with so many. I know all these people. I knew all of them really well. Yeah. In fact, the 6 actors that played that Dhanlakshmi song, Dhanlakshmi Laddu for me, for you, they were kind enough, they didn't charge a penny, literally, because they all said that we all know you so well for so many years and we're not taking money from you. So it was kind of like production savvy as well, that decision.
But it's a Dharma production. Please take money, man. What is this? It's not an indie film. It's a big film.
I gave lovely presents, but I thought it was very kind of them, and I have to say, people have also been so kind, like Diljit, who owns the song Lover. And I called him and I was asking Diljit, Paji, mujhe ye gana chahiye. Or, I was trying to explain to him what I wanted it for. And he was like, "To aap chahte ki what do you want, exactly want?" He wasn't understanding. I was like, I need a usage song, and I was told it is ridiculously expensive, but I really wanted the interval point to be Lover, Terani mein Lover had to come out. He was like, aap pooch ke kyun rahe ho? Ye haq banta hai aapka. So I'm like, sometimes these relationships really, like the ones that I've built over time, we tend to look at all the trolling and the negativity and the industry hatred or whatever you may call it. But I'm like, I've been blessed with so many great relationships that who cares about what's negative? I mean, look at the positive.
Speaking of Diljit Dosanjh, you're going to meet him soon at the Toronto International Films Festival. Both of you have movies.
We have a movie, Kill. I mean, I'm so excited, Sucharita, because this film nobody knew about. I mean, for Bari people in the trade, like, Guneet, so you probably knew. But like, nobody knows that this non-stop actioner on a moving train, helmed by a first-time actor, an outsider. I want to repeat this. Commerce, who has no lena no dena with the industry. We launched him into this non-stop actioner done by a Korean crew. Guneet, of course, has such strong equity on her own as a film producer, but we sent it to Toronto and it got accepted officially. Midnight Madness. It's at 11:59 on the day of release, and we put it out yesterday as this is the first burst. But we have lots more to show of the film. Super exciting film. We've never made such a hardcore, non-stop, violent action film, which is blood porn, and just like it's for those people who love that genre. So yes, I will be meeting Diljit. I'm very excited to do so.
You'll meet me also. I'm also coming. I'm very close by.
I hope you're watching our film.
Yes, of course. I'm in Washington, D.C., very close to Toronto. I'll come. Coming back to Aur Rani, individualism is at an all-time high in this film. I would say more than any of your previous films. Now, I'm going to get a little bit personal, okay, Karan? In the last season of Coffee with Karan also, I felt like I saw you being more comfortable in your skin, who you are, more relaxed, more at ease, more self-deprecating humor. And, you have this in common with Ranveer Singh. I feel that there's a very obvious facade that you're hiding behind. Yours is that you're very proper, and his is that he's very loud, he's out there. But I feel like both these facades are in place to kind of protect the self. While it's great to see you at the age of 51 being like, this is me, how did you know that you reached a point in your life where you were ready to bare your soul like this in this movie, on your show, in life?
I realized I had nothing to lose anymore. Like in the last couple of years, and even before that, I realized that this is my life, and who am I lying to about any part of my life? I wrote a book, which was also honest enough. Poonam Saxena wrote that book, and she's a dear friend, but she kind of put it all out there. I spoke about myself, and many parts of my personal life were already put out there, and I wanted to. And then the last 3 years, Sucharita, where there was... I felt there was a lot of hate, that was coming my way. And it had really, really, really taken a toll on my mom, and I saw her literally crumble under that because she used to watch TV channels, she was reading stuff online. She's quite happy like that in those zones. And she was watching TV anchors screaming and shouting and saying the most god-awful things about me, demonizing me for some reason. And then there were people who were like kind of writing the same on Twitter and on other social media platforms. And all I had to be was resilient at that time because I had to be strong for my own mom and for myself. But then, you feel kind of naked after all of that has happened. You feel like, abhi to kapde utar diye sabne. Abhi kya hai? Abhi kya chupana? Ab kisse ladna? Abhi now everyone anyway has kind of like stormed into your life, made assumptions, made presumptions. They don't know the person I am. They may never, and they just made this perception of this mafia, whatever they keep talking about. And I'm like, yeah, they don't know how a producer on a daily basis is trying to get his or her film cast, no matter which position you're in. You're calling 5 actors. Sometimes all 5 say no. Then you're you're managing a budget. Just because you have perceived to be ahead of a studio doesn't mean you don't have your own like daily anxieties. And you have your own personal mental health issues, which nobody ever knows about. So when I was on that season of Coffee with Karan, or when I was in the development of writing, and full remarks, by the way, here we have to mention the writers are the soul and spirit of this film. Shashank Khetan, Sumit Roy, Ishita Moitra, and governed by Somen Mishra. I mean, literally, like, these are the heart and soul of the film. They made me go into these zones that I may have been worried to, because the gender politics and as well as the communication of the film had to be correct. And I said that because I was in that feeling of liberation, in any case, I felt like now I'm not going to pretend anymore. In our cinema, we tend to pretend. We pretend a value system sometimes, or we pretend like we pretend a moment that is what you think an audience will like. But when Ranveer Singh and Tota Roy Chaudhary break into Dola Re Dola, that's my inner feeling. Like, it's like I want to do that dance somewhere. I probably will also, knowing me. And I'm like, there's going to be no shame on that, because like I feel like doing Dola Re Dola right now. So that is what I think a lot of the abandon and a lot of the, I would say, freedom of thought came from years of absorbing the negativity and still holding on to my individuality. So when you speak about the film's individuality, it comes from actually, it just comes from a place of resilience, and it comes from a place of like, now I don't want to pretend anymore because I don't have to. I'm like, if they think the cat is out of the bag and they have control on that cat and that bag, that's their problem. I am going to be who I am, and I'm not going to give a damn. That's just the way it's going to be.
And that's the honesty that kind of comes through in the movie as well, specifically in that Dola Re Dola sequence. You can sense that it's not just a release for Ranveer's character, it feels like it's a release for you as well. Has Sanjay Bhansali watched the movie? Has he seen that sequence?
It's a full homage to him. Yeah. And that not there too. The scene when Tota dances to
the Kiran Kher sequence.
The Garba Lagai, and then Dola Re Dola. I don't know, I haven't heard from him. But I'd like to say that I'm a huge, huge admirer of his craft and work. Huge fan. And this is a big homage to him. I don't think he's ever called me after any film. I don't think he has, though I have loved many of his. I hope I get a call from him. I'm waiting. I'll let you know.
You worked with two of his current favorite actors, so I assume that he's interested in watching this movie as well. Also, has Sooraj Barjatya watched the film, and specifically that sequence? That's very clearly, yes?
Yeah. Surajji messaged me, his son messaged me, they both spoke with me. So many filmmakers, but it was so important that Surajji, because he's been a huge inspiration, and he reached out, and so polite. He's just the kindest, warmest, politest man I know in the business. And he, as usual, his message was like full of love. And his son sent me such a warm, wonderful message. And I was just like, those were the moments that made me really happy.
Lastly, Karan, I was really hoping for a Shah Rukh Khan cameo, specifically in that opening songs where all the cameos are there. There's Varun and like, Sara and Janvi. Did you try to bring Shah Rukh into that song at all, or no?
Not at all, never. Shah Rukh really did the most defining scene in Air for me, and for that I will always be grateful. I can't keep using my privilege, with Shah Rukh to that extent. Like, I can't push it. Do you remember he shot with us for 18 days for Brahmastra? Yeah. I mean, that was also, and with no monetary exchange, he gave his heart, time, body, everything into that sequence was a large sequence. He shot for 18 days. And I'm like, phir se chale jaunga to, it'll be too much. Shah Rukh never says no to me. He never says no to me. Like, I've never asked him for a favor, and he's never, when we asked him for Brahmastra, when Alia, I'm calling her Rani now, Alia, Ranveer, Ayan, and he went, and he was like, there's no way I'm saying no to Karan. Like, there's no way. Like, so I didn't want to use this. I think you have to keep that card very close, because, I will use it. I will use it because I have that kind of access to Mr. Khan. So I'm like, I don't want to keep, using it for no reason. No, I didn't ever approach him for anything.
But he did turn sort of romance coach for your actors, right? Like, Alia went up to him. So,
the thing for everyone who doesn't understand, when you do a slow motion song, a high speed song, the music is doubled. It's like, you sound like a chipmunk, so to catch the lip sync, you really have to, there's a technique to it. And of course, Shah Rukh, being the most intelligent man I know, mastered that technique a while ago. So when Alia was grappling with that high speed double, it's like you hear a voice note on two. That's how that song is. That's how it has to be done and expressed through lip sync.
Yeah.
So I said, just go to Shah Rukh, he's a master. And she went. And not only did she thought some advice on the phone, but he was there for 6 hours with her and Suhana. Because he said, while I'm coaching you, let me also coach Suhana. So both like students sat, and Professor Khan conducted this whole lip sync in high speed opera, and they both were like, wow, like this is like gold, like getting this from Shah Rukh himself. Like vicariously, Shah Rukh is in the film.
I would pay money to be a fly on the wall in that room where he's teaching Alia Bhatt how to lip sync to a romantic song.
She came fully trained. Like fully trained. Like she was like, there was not a beat that she was missing because she was trained by the best.
Love it. Well, congratulations on all the great reviews, all the money the movies I'm hoping making, and everything that it's going to lead to for your actors and for yourself and for your writers as well. Thank you so much for talking to me today and for your time today, Karan. So fun.
I have no idea what you're doing in Washington, but I hope you're having a good time. And I look forward to seeing you in Toronto.
I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.